Okay, so the bed is made, not super perfectly, but it's done. And then desk cleaned off, and I'll walk you through it later because now I'm going on my walk. I need to get dressed for that. It's 55 degrees, so I've also thrown this over the top. Ready to go. So you can see I'm wearing a mask. And everybody I've passed is wearing a mask. And the weather makes it not as humid. But yeah, and it just got dark. Okay, what I'm doing is a walk. My section is competing. I wonder if I flip this. Yeah. My section is competing with another section, and it's just for like distance, so like steps, running steps, biking steps. So I'm just going for a long walk on the way to my COVID test, which happens weekly, at least once a week. You can do it twice a week if you want to. I have done it twice a week. And then daily symptoms checks also happen. But yeah, so I'm just walking around campus. So pretty, right? So we're walking towards the Oval, and like you'll see tour buses come by here. Not as much right now because there's not as much tourism happening, but it happens. And I've seen so many people running and biking because it's such a nice place to run and bike and walk like I'm doing. I'm early, I'm trying to be. You can see student testing here, all the way down Galvez Street, so headed that way. So I am back from my walk and my COVID test, and it's a self-swab. Just go all the way back until it like tickles and you kind of feel like you want to sneeze. But yeah, so did my walk, and then all of this behind me of getting this ready, it was because I spend most of my day, if not all of my day, in this room, and I just needed to be tidy to focus on school. So that is that. I have, let's see, a little over an hour and 15 minutes before my first class at 9:45, and none of my classes start before 9:45. The earliest. I have one day that starts at 11:20. But yeah, so no really early starts. That's why I wasn't really aiming to wake up early at all, aside from my walk. Like if I wasn't going for a walk in my test, which like while I'm doing this competition, I'm pretty much going for a walk every morning. But while I'm not doing that, like I could wake up right about now. Okay, so I'm at my desk. I have just thrown a like cardigan over the tank that I was wearing because the benefit of doing a relatively slow walk in 55-degree weather is that you don't sweat. My first class of the day is civil procedure, and we didn't have a reading assigned for today. We had a like problem based on a previous reading, a couple of problems. This would be like kind of an issue spotter problem, and so I did that. We didn't have to turn it in because we're going to spend the day discussing it. So I'm just gonna go over the question and the answer, and then I'm gonna make some tea. I know once we're doing class in person, the time that I'll have to review will be that time immediately leading up to class. But for now, I just want to I like to have some space in between that like last minute review and like go into class really chill, relaxed. But yeah, so what you have right now is basically the view that everyone has of me all day with my dishes behind me, my art, my TV, the end of my bed. But yeah, so I'll show you my desk really quick and study for a little bit. One of the things I want to get this weekend is a power strip so that all of my cords don't have to sit up here, but like, or they can still sit up here, but I just have so many cords under here and like they're stretched along, and I just want the only close outlet is like right here behind my bed, and so I think a power strip, well, 2 power strips that can kind of connect these lights and stuff will make everything better. But yeah, so like here we have this lamp at night. It like, I've had almost no light. But yeah, so I've got a bunch of gel pens, hand sanitizer, hand lotions, highlighters, my favorite pen, although I kind of want to try the new Sharpie one, my favorite pen. And then I have some coins that are in a bag. I don't have anywhere else to put them. I have headphones. I usually go wireless, but because of just having some days with back-to-back classes and other Zoom meetings, I also have these hooked up to my computer. So you can see I have 2 computers here. This computer is so old. It's from the beginning of senior year of college, so that was 6 years ago, and like it is just worse for the wear, and I just wanted a computer for law school that I could rely on. And then so I have my law school computer, and this one I use for Zoom. That's why it's elevated. The problem is that taking notes is difficult when I have the screen up for the for using the same computer, so I just use this one. I'm lucky to have it, I get that, but I mean, you're generally supposed to get a new computer before law school, and so I just went ahead. But yeah, this is a planner, some blank notes for thank yous and stuff, some tabs, my to-do list, a notebook for quick notes for our meetings, and then this is my like week of just readings and like highlight it once I've done it. So I've done everything for Monday, and I'll do Tuesday tonight, and maybe even my next contracts reading. I have these little dots that show what I should be reading next, and I just like don't read for class that I haven't had yet, because I don't ever want to be super ahead and not know what we're talking about because I've already moved on. So I've got you set up here. You can see me. This is a 60 person class, so I don't have my camera on quite yet, but I will, but it's less important because there's so many other people on here. So it's my section and another section. If there's a difference between the state law claim and then, or the state law and a federal rule. So for this case, I did have a little bit of unsurety because the difference was that the state law had a kind of a requirement or a provision, and the federal like rule just didn't have it, and that was the difference. And so at first I kind of questioned if like, well, does it need to be conflicting exactly? But then I kind of kept looking and realized that that would matter more later. So like the difference was that the state law had this affidavit requirement, and the federal law just had its procedures, and it was kind of outside of those procedures. So that was Civ Pro, and I answered a couple questions. That class has a panel system, meaning it's grouped, people are grouped together, and you will be called on that day. I have like another class with like a quasi panel, like you have a group that you will answer with on the same day or days, but you don't know what day. For my civil procedure class, we know which days we're on panel. Today we actually were not on panel because of the discussion section. She'll have days where she just wants it to be either just like voluntary based and wants more people to talk. So I volunteered, and I generally think it's better to volunteer early on just in case they start calling on people when no one's answering. That way you've already talked and they don't usually pick you, because that's when you don't know the answer. It's better to give an answer when you know it than to, or at least think you know it, than to just like wait until you have no idea to be called on. But yeah, so we have 20 minutes between classes, and that's generally because we might be traveling between classes and need time for bathroom breaks and stuff. Now, of course, we don't, so it's kind of dead time. But I finished my chai tea latte, and I'm gonna pick up sprinkle. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just like a small handful of granola. I'm a little bit hungry, but lunch. It's like 11 o'clock, and when we finish, it'll be 12:30 with my next class, and so or 12:35. So I'm gonna go ahead and just have like the tiniest amount of granola to make it through. So this downtime, I will read for my next class a little bit, just like to reintroduce myself to the topics that we're talking about in case I'm called on. This next class does not have a panel system. She has a list of people that she calls on. You do not know where you are on the list. When she finishes it, she reshuffles. So unless you've just been called and she hasn't finished her list for that round, you could be up, so be ready for that. I've got my granola. I've switched to water, and I've got my notes. So it is 12:45. We stayed after class for a little bit, just with questions, not super long, and I answered an email or two. But yeah, so I'm done with classes for the day. Gonna make lunch. I'm not gonna say super quick. I'm not in a hurry for it, but yeah, I'm gonna make lunch and then hopefully do my work in a timely manner so that I can actually have some time before bed. Here we go. And we have lunch. So this right here that I didn't show you the packaging for is just like a quick kind of like stewed chicken I did. It's like peppers and onions and garlic and tomato paste and vegetable broth kind of simmered down with the chicken after it had been seared. So lunch. So lunch and my break were great. Very honestly, I was watching Real Housewives of Potomac. And yeah, so now it's 2 o'clock, just after 2, and I'm going to just read. Put you down here. So I thought I would talk just really quickly about my reading, because I showed you this earlier, and I do it by day. I tried it at my class starting off, and it just got confusing because what I really wanted to know was, what do I need to have done for class tomorrow? And the way my classes go, I don't have the same schedule. I don't have like a set schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. Just in case I like speed through this because this is boring. I've got some pro torts and legal research and writing to read for tomorrow, and about 20 pages for Civ Pro, about 20 pages for torts, and then another 5 pages, so about 45 to 50 pages of reading, and that's pretty common. I might have a night that I get lucky. It seems like sometimes towards the end of the week they try to do their shorter readings, like start as heavy on the beginning of the week, and then like that way to make sure that we get through everything during the week. The readings are also shorter. It's a break. It's a way to make sure we get through everything. I might have more like 30 pages or 40 instead of like 50, 60 at the beginning of the week. And from talking to other people, it sounds like we have it really good here. Like there are people who have like 300 pages a night. And I mean, our professors seem to apologize if it gets above 20. They're like, sorry, the reading was so long. So I feel lucky. And if I get to it and don't spend another 10 minutes talking to you or longer, I can maybe be done with enough time to relax. It is now 8 o'clock, so I've been studying for 6 hours with like some breaks, like so maybe more like 5. And I've kind of put some dinner on. It's like a rice cauliflower stir fry, and then Trader Joe's. Well, I brought from Trader Joe's. Now you know what at least this day was like. Honestly, even if I was going to class, I probably just would have stayed in the library or something for a really long time and maybe come back before dark. But I would have been doing the same thing, just not here. Probably would have gotten out a little bit more. Pretty much fully studying. Now I'm probably gonna have dinner, read for fun, hopefully. Forgot to actually say goodbye. I hope you enjoy this. I hope it was informative, and maybe I can do this for another day, even though they're pretty similar. Some days are slightly different, so let me try to do that. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.